So, hi everyone, I'm Christine Fuller. I am the director of the Oaklawn Hometown School District 123 Early Learning Center. We currently support approximately 297 children between the ages of 3 and 5. This is a preschool only center, if you will. And our program, we pride ourselves on being fully blended, and it's a place where everyone belongs. And really what belonging means to us here in this building. We've spent a lot of time talking about our core values. We've been able to kind of like frame out that, our main, we talked about inclusion for some time. And we really kind of peeled that onion back, if you will. And what does that mean? And for us, that means belonging. So we try really hard to ensure that we're creating a place where each person is valued, every story matters, and everyone feels connected in the work that we're doing here. So I usually stop and I share that nugget, if you will, with folks, parents, and then I give them their folder. So within our folder here at the Early Learning Center is ta-da, your inclusion brochure. But you guys in the state of Illinois kind of telling us that inclusion's about each and every child. We kind of speak at that from a level of belonging. I do a walkabout within the brochure. I actually open it up. I take a few minutes and I say things like, the benefit of this really is for everyone. And I kind of see what questions parents have before we start kind of doing the walkabout, if you will, in the building. But, I just want them to know that even the materials that are selected in the building are all to ensure that, all children, including children with disabilities, have the opportunities to reach their full potential. We've spent a lot of time, this is done in English, Spanish, and Arabic, but it's our next steps to preschool. This is for all children in the district, whether they're coming to us from early intervention or they're just inquiring about preschool. But we've been very specific in terms of like step one is just all about getting ready for preschool and what's needed. They need to complete their questionnaires. They need to complete an application. They need to submit the following documents. And then there's just a little bit at the bottom about early intervention students. And that's when I say to people, and that's you, you're from early intervention. And I tell them like how I've gotten this far in the relationship with them, how we've received their information because they signed the consent with Easter seals to help get a transition meeting set up. But I do think it's super important to have these transition meetings in person and to meet the families and to kind of get a sense, for them to get a sense of what our program looks like. And for me to kind of figure out how I can be as supportive as I can to ensure that we're building a relationship from the very beginning. Relationships are another one of our core values. I want families to know that this is a place where genuine trust and connections are formed. And I want to make sure, again, that everyone, including children with special needs, feel valued and supported. And then we have a quick conversation, if need be, about maybe what that looks like. And then we do a walkabout and we look at the classrooms. We walk outside. We have an outdoor classroom, if you will, a pergola. There's things planted. The children have the opportunity to kind of explore the environment, to play. We have our family projects going on right now. I'm going to walk over there because I think that that's a huge highlight. I think it's a nice way when you have artifacts present that families have done in their homes with their children to kind of emphasize what that homeschool connection really looks like. The artifacts are like the parent projects that people do at home. And I typically stop and highlight whatever parent project we have going. For example, this family is growing something literally out of a heavy whipping cream box. So it's really not always about having the most expensive materials at home, but connecting and participating. This family used a milk jug, and so on and so on. We used our PFA dollars to purchase the seeds and the soil and all of the materials. PFA, of course, is preschool for all. I'm very intentional in the words I use with families, just so that they know that the materials and such are coming from our program, we're trying to kind of open up centers outside in a way in which everything that kids can do inside, they can also do outside. So I tell families that that's one thing that really makes our program special. Then I again pause for questions that they may have. Usually by the time we've gotten to the playground, that's when they're looking at their next steps to preschool document. That's typically the dead giveaway that they want to come to the preschool. And then I also show folks how they can submit their documents. Like this is really quite nice. They can literally click and make an appointment through Calendly with our registrar directly. So I think that that's helpful because, you know, if anything gets, you know, lost in translation or folks are, you know, wanting that extra bit of help, we're here. We're absolutely happy to help them. So this is our Family Resource Support Center. There's a lot of books and resources for families that cover topics such as our units of study, kindness, families, dual language families, books that are all about me, and then various resources, if you will. There's a bathroom in here with a changing table. There's also a space where women can nurse babies. And then we can sit and we can have conversations about their child accessing our environment. Then I make sure that they leave with their folder and I wish them well. I do have a business card in here. Tell them they can definitely, I'm a point of contact. We've also sent this Next Steps to Preschool for them digitally so that they're able to access that. And that's it. That's a wrap. I send them out the door. And I'm just usually very grateful for them, you know, taking a chance in our early learning center and seeing all that we have to offer. Because ultimately I tell parents, like they're the ones who decide. Usually I'm doing these and there's a bus out there. I'm like, you're the one driving the bus, mama. You get to decide, mom and dad or a guardian or family member, what's best for your child. So that's it. Hopefully I've answered questions related to transition and how things kind of look and feel here at the Early Learning Center in Oakland.